the spaceship Tremor, 7, an aging but reliable vessel, cruised through the vast expanse of space. Its hull was battered from years of service, bearing the scars of countless adventures and close calls. Inside, the air hummed with the steady thrum of engines, a comforting sound to those accustomed to life among the stars. David, a seasoned human engineer with a sharp mind and an unyielding spirit, stood at the helm, scanning the control panel. His brown hair was tousled, and his green eyes reflected a blend of focus and determination. He had been on countless missions, but this one was different. Beside him stood Zara, an alien woman from the distant planet of Eridani. Her skin was a striking shade of emerald, smooth and luminescent, with intricate patterns that seemed to dance under the ship's artificial lighting. Her eyes, a deep, glowing blue, held a wisdom and serenity that belied her youthful appearance. Zara's presence was both a comfort and an enigma to David. They had formed an unlikely partnership, bound by a shared goal and mutual respect. Approaching the coordinates, Zara announced, her voice calm and melodic. David nodded, his hands moving deftly over the controls. Roger that, initiating final descent sequence. Suddenly, a violent shudder rocked the ship. Alarms blared, piercing the relative quiet with their urgent clamor. Red warning lights flashed across the control panel, signaling imminent danger. "What's happening?" Zara's voice cut through the noise, sharp and concerned. "Systems malfunction," David replied, his voice strained. Zara's eyes narrowed as she rapidly assessed the situation. "Engage the auxiliary power. We need to stabilize the descent." "I'm on it," David said, his fingers flying across the console. But the ship's systems were unresponsive, and the Tremor 7 continued its uncontrollable descent. The planet below loomed larger and larger, its surface a tapestry of dense jungle and rocky outcrops. "Brace for impact," David shouted, gripping the edge of his seat. The ship hurtled toward the ground, crashing through the canopy of alien trees with a deafening roar. Metal screamed as it bent and buckled, and the world outside became a blur of green and brown. When the Tremor 7 finally came to a halt, silence reigned. David and Zara, dazed but alive, slowly extricated themselves from the wreckage. The air was thick with the scent of burning metal and crushed vegetation. David groaned, pulling himself to his feet. "You okay?" he asked, his voice hoarse. Zara nodded, brushing dirt from her suit. "I'm fine. What about you?" "I'll live," David replied, wincing as he inspected a gash on his arm. They stepped out of the ship and into the alien jungle. The landscape was unlike anything David had ever seen. Towering trees with bioluminescent leaves cast an eerie glow over the dense underbrush. Strange, iridescent flowers bloomed in vivid clusters, and the air was alive with the hum of unseen creatures. "We need to salvage what we can," Zara said, her voice firm with resolve. "Our priority is to repair the communication systems and signal for help." David nodded, already moving toward the wreckage. "Agreed. Let's start with the basics: tools, food, water. We have no idea what kind of threats this planet might hold." As they worked, David marveled at Zara's composure. She moved with a grace and efficiency that spoke of her experience and training. Despite the dire circumstances, there was an unspoken understanding between them, a silent promise to see each other through. Hours passed as they scavenged the wreckage. They managed to salvage a few essential tools, some emergency rations, and a portable power unit. It wasn't much, but it was a start. As night fell, the jungle transformed. The bioluminescent leaves glowed brighter, casting an otherworldly light over the landscape. Strange calls and rustles echoed through the darkness, a reminder that they were far from alone. David and Zara set up a makeshift camp near the wreckage, using salvaged materials to create a shelter. They built a small fire, its flickering flames providing a semblance of warmth and security. "Do you think anyone saw our distress signal?" David asked, staring into the fire. Zara shrugged, her eyes reflecting the dancing flames. "It's hard to say. This planet is on the fringes of known space, but we have to hope." David nodded, his thoughts drifting to the vastness of space and the uncertainty of their situation. "We'll get through this," he said, more to reassure himself than Zara. "We will," Zara replied, her voice steady. As the night deepened, David and Zara lay under the alien sky, the twin moons casting a soft glow over the jungle. Despite the unknown dangers that lurked in the shadows, they found solace in each other's presence. Their journey was just beginning, and they knew the road ahead would be fraught with challenges. But together, they were ready to face whatever the future held. The days following the crash were a blur of activity and exhaustion. The jungle's dense canopy cast dappled shadows over David and Zara as they meticulously scavenged the wreckage of their ship. Each day brought new challenges, and they often worked late into the night, their tasks illuminated by the bioluminescent flora that surrounded them. Yet, in the midst of their struggle, a bond began to form between the two survivors, forged in the crucible of adversity. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky turned a deep shade of violet, David and Zara sat by a small campfire. The fire crackled softly, casting a warm glow on their faces. The air was filled with the sweet scent of alien blossoms and the distant calls of nocturnal creatures awakening in the jungle. David, leaning back against a smooth, moss-covered rock, let out a weary sigh. "I think we made good progress today," he said, his voice tinged with fatigue, but also a hint of satisfaction. "The communication array is almost fixed." Zara nodded, her eyes reflecting the firelight. "Yes, we're getting closer. Soon we'll be able to send a distress signal and get off this planet." There was a brief, comfortable silence between them, the kind that only develops after days of working in sync with someone. David glanced at Zara, noticing the way the firelight played on her emerald skin, casting delicate shadows that accentuated her features. Her blue eyes, glowing faintly in the dim light, held a depth and wisdom that fascinated him. "Zara," David began hesitantly, "what's your home like? I mean, Eridani. You've mentioned it a few times, but I'd love to hear more about it." Zara smiled, a soft, wistful expression crossing her face. "Eridani is beautiful. It's a world of contrasts. We have vast, shimmering oceans that stretch to the horizon and majestic mountain ranges that pierce the sky. But what I love most are the festivals we have under the twin moons." David leaned forward, intrigued. Zara's eyes sparkled with memory. During the festivals, the entire sky lights up with colors. Our moons, one silver and the other a deep blue, align perfectly, creating a breathtaking dance of light. We celebrate with music, dance, and feasts. Families and friends gather together, and we share stories of our ancestors, our victories, and our dreams. David could almost picture it in his mind, a world bathed in ethereal light, filled with joy and unity. "It sounds magical," he said softly. "I hope I get to see it someday." "You will, David," Zara replied, her voice filled with a quiet certainty. As the fire crackled between them, they shared more stories. David spoke of Earth, of its bustling cities and serene countryside. He told Zara about the changing seasons, the beauty of a snow-covered landscape, and the vibrant colors of autumn leaves. Zara listened intently, her curiosity about David's world growing with each tale. In turn, Zara recounted her own adventures as a navigator and explorer. She spoke of distant star systems she had visited, of encounters with other alien species, and the wonders of the cosmos that she had witnessed. David found himself captivated by her stories, feeling a deep connection to the vast universe through her eyes. As the night deepened, their conversation shifted to more personal topics. They spoke of their fears, their hopes, and their dreams. David confided in Zara about his apprehensions, the weight of responsibility he felt as an engineer, and the longing for a deeper purpose. Zara, in turn, shared her own struggles, the burden of expectations, and her desire to forge her own path. Under the canopy of alien stars, their bond grew stronger. They found solace in each other's company, a sense of understanding and acceptance that transcended the differences between their worlds. The isolation and danger of the jungle seemed to fade away, replaced by a shared determination to survive and thrive together. As the fire died down to glowing embers, David felt a profound sense of gratitude. Despite the hardships they faced, he had found a kindred spirit in Zara, Their journey was far from over, but he knew that, together, they could overcome any obstacle. "Thank you, Zara," David said quietly, his voice filled with emotion. Zara reached out and gently touched his hand, her touch warm and reassuring. "We're in this together, David. We'll make it through, and when we do, we'll have a lifetime of stories to tell." With that, they settled into a companionable silence, watching the stars twinkle overhead. The jungle around them was alive with the sounds of nocturnal creatures, but in their small corner of the world, there was peace. David and Zara, two souls from different worlds, had found each other in the vastness of the universe, and in that moment, it was enough. Their progress was interrupted one fateful morning when they spotted a menacing sight on the horizon, a group of alien pirates. Ruthless and armed to the teeth, these pirates had been scouring the galaxy for vulnerable targets. The sight of David and Zara's partially repaired ship piqued their interest. "We need to hide," Zara whispered urgently, pulling David into the thick underbrush. The pirates, a mix of various alien species, disembarked from their ship and began searching the area. David and Zara held their breaths, hoping their hiding spot would be enough, but the pirates were thorough, and it was only a matter of time before they found the wreckage. Zara's mind raced as she watched the pirates. "We can't let them get to our ship. If they do, we're finished." David nodded, his jaw clenched. "We'll have to fight." Using their engineering skills, they devised traps and defensive mechanisms around their camp. They knew they were outnumbered, but they had the element of surprise. The morning sun pierced through the dense canopy, casting dappled shadows on the forest floor. David and Zara had spent the night setting up their makeshift defenses, their hands raw from working with the jagged remains of their ship. The tension in the air was palpable, each rustle of leaves and chirp of alien birds amplifying their nerves. They knew the pirates would come soon. It was just a matter of time. David crouched behind a large boulder, adjusting the trigger mechanism on a spring-loaded trap. His eyes, usually warm and calm, were now steely with determination. "These should slow them down," he murmured, more to himself than to Zara. Zara, her emerald skin blending with the foliage, moved silently beside him, her senses on high alert. She checked the tripwires and glanced at David, her glowing blue eyes reflecting both fear and resolve. "It's not enough to just slow them down, David. We need to stop them." David nodded. "I know. We'll have to outthink them, use every advantage we have." As the first rays of dawn painted the sky with hues of pink and orange, the ominous silhouettes of the pirate ship loomed on the horizon. The pirates, a ragtag band of various alien species, were an intimidating sight. Their leader, a towering brute with scarred gray skin and piercing red eyes, barked orders in a guttural language. David and Zara watched as the pirates disembarked, weapons at the ready, their intent clear. "Stay low and stay quiet," Zara whispered, her voice barely audible. "We'll strike when they least expect it." The pirates fanned out, moving methodically through the jungle. David's heart pounded in his chest as he saw one of them trigger a concealed tripwire. A sharpened log swung down from the trees, impaling the unsuspecting pirate and sending a shockwave through the rest of the crew. The leader snarled, rallying his men. "Spread out! Find them!" David and Zara took advantage of the chaos, launching their surprise attack. They had fashioned rudimentary weapons from the wreckage, and now they put them to use. Zara, agile and swift, moved like a shadow through the trees, her energy whip crackling as it lashed out at the pirates. David, more methodical, used his engineering prowess to activate traps and strike from a distance. The jungle erupted in a cacophony of shouts, explosions, and the whine of alien weaponry. David felt a surge of adrenaline as he activated a hidden explosive, sending a group of pirates flying. But their numbers were overwhelming, and for every pirate they took down, more seemed to appear. Zara fought with a ferocity David had never seen before. Her movements were a blur, her energy whip a lethal extension of her will. She struck down pirate after pirate, but even she couldn't be everywhere at once. A sudden cry of pain drew David's attention. He turned to see Zara on the ground, clutching her side where a pirate's blade had found its mark. "Zara!" he shouted, his voice raw with fear. He rushed to her side, his makeshift spear at the ready. A hulking pirate loomed over Zara, his eyes filled with malicious glee. David's mind raced. He needed to act fast. With a roar, he hurled his spear, striking the pirate square in the chest. The brute staggered back, falling with a heavy thud. David dropped to his knees beside Zara, his hands shaking. "Zara, are you all right?" Zara winced, but managed a weak smile.
"I've had worse," she said through gritted teeth. "We can't stop now, David. They won't give up."
David nodded, his resolve hardening. He helped Zara to her feet, her weight a comforting reminder that she was still with him. "Let's finish this," he said. Together, they fought their way through the remaining pirates, their movements synchronized, their trust in each other unwavering. Just as it seemed they were about to be overwhelmed, a loud crackle filled the air. Zara's hack had worked. The distress signal she had sent earlier had been received. A sleek, silver ship descended from the sky, its engines humming with power. Eridani soldiers clad in gleaming armor poured out, their weapons trained on the pirates. The tide of battle shifted instantly. The pirates, caught off guard, were quickly subdued. David and Zara stood together, breathing heavily, their bodies bruised and battered, but their spirits unbroken. The Eridani commander approached, his helmet reflecting the morning light. "We received your signal," he said, his voice authoritative yet kind. Zara nodded, her eyes meeting David's. "Thank you," she said, her voice filled with gratitude. "We couldn't have done it without you." David smiled, feeling a sense of relief and pride. As the Eridani soldiers secured the area and treated their wounds, David and Zara looked out at the jungle that had been their battlefield. It was a place of danger and struggle, but also of newfound strength and unbreakable bonds. "We did it," Zara said softly, leaning into David. David wrapped his arm around her, his heart swelling with love and hope. The sleek silver ship glided through the atmosphere of Eridani, Zara's home planet. David gazed out the window, mesmerized by the twin moons casting a soft glow over the lush landscapes below. The sight was breathtaking, far more beautiful than he had imagined from Zara's descriptions. Zara, seated beside him, smiled as she observed his awe. The ship descended smoothly, landing on a platform surrounded by towering crystalline structures. The architecture was both alien and elegant, with buildings that seemed to merge organically with the natural environment. David took a deep breath, feeling a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Meeting Zara's family and being introduced to her culture was a significant step, one he hoped to navigate successfully. As they disembarked, they were greeted by a group of Eridani officials. Zara's father, High Counselor Thalios, stood at the forefront. He was tall and imposing, with the same emerald skin and glowing blue eyes as Zara. His expression was a mix of relief and sternness. "Zara," Thalios said, his voice resonating with authority, "you have returned safely. We were worried." Zara stepped forward, embracing her father. "We faced many challenges, but we made it back," she replied, glancing at David with a fond smile. "This is David. Without him, I wouldn't be here." Thalios scrutinized David, his gaze intense. David bowed slightly, feeling the weight of the High Counselor's regard. "It was an honor, sir. Zara and I worked together as a team." Thalios nodded, a hint of a smile touching his lips. "Very well." They were escorted to Zara's family home, a magnificent structure nestled amidst vibrant gardens. The interior was filled with soft, glowing light and intricate designs that seemed to pulse with life. David marveled at the beauty and tranquility of the place, feeling a sense of peace wash over him. Zara led him to a guest room, its walls adorned with delicate murals depicting Eridani history and culture. "You can rest here," she said, her hand lingering on his arm. "I'll be next door if you need anything." David nodded, appreciating the warmth in her touch. "Thank you, Zara." As he settled in, Zara left to speak with her family. David lay on the comfortable bed, his mind racing with thoughts of the days ahead, meeting Zara's family, learning about her culture, and facing whatever challenges might come. It was a lot to take in.